Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Now in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how you can start and grow a business whilst working a full-time job. Now if it's your first time here, a quick introduction to myself. My name is Christos Fellas and I have personally built multiple businesses on the side of working a normal 9 to 5, 37.5-hour week job. And I personally believe I have the skills because when I first started out doing this, it was a struggle for me. So what I wanted to do was share a couple of the things that I personally did that really helped me get on my way with my businesses. So I'm going to get straight into this content right now, no fluffing around. And I personally believe the best way that you can solve this problem is actually working out the thing that is holding you back in the first place. And now for me, and probably most percentage of people, I'll probably say at least 80% of people, the main problem that you are going to have when building a business on the side of a busy schedule is going to be your time. Now with the average working week, like I did mention at the start of this video, being at around 37.5 hours and a working day being only time between 8:30 to 5:30, depending on what job you do, you don't really have too much time to actually build your business. And that is not even factoring in things such as family time, doing household chores, and just general living. So the first thing we need to really solve is how to get our time back and how to manage our time effectively, which really does lead me into my first point, which I want to make, and probably one of the biggest changes that I made with my working day, and that is creating a plan or a schedule around your working week. Now there's two ways that I have personally planned my weeks in the past, and both have been extremely effective, and I wanted to make sure that I mentioned both in this video because they do really depend on the type of person you are for a start, the type of business that you're running, and the schedule that you actually have. And it all depends on what type of person you are as to which one is going to be better for you. Now I'll start off with the first one, which is more the traditional way, which is your typical kind of iPhone calendar, Android calendar, or maybe even a handheld diary. What I would do is bring up my personal one from the past last year that you can take a look at. And yeah, as you can see here, this is a typical day in the life of what I did back in June this year. As you can see, at the start of the day we have some business focus, then from 9 o'clock all the way to 5 o'clock I have my day job. There's nothing I can do about it. I have to just block it out. There are some tasks that I am allowed to do during the day at work, but I don't add them into this calendar because it's very much hard to plan around that. Then as you can see, at 5 o'clock I did some work on my Amazon business. I then planned for dinner because that's obviously really important as well to do. I planned some time for some exercise. Whether I actually did that day or not, who knows, but it's always nice to plan for it. Then as you can see, as the week goes on, I've got other things that came in. I've got a shipment here on the Tuesday for my e-commerce business. I've got video editing. I've got a consulting call, I believe there. I've got various different things throughout the week, and I'm guessing you're probably wondering how I've color coded all of this. And basically, because I am running multiple businesses, I've got the yellow one being my e-commerce business, my red one being my personal brand and my YouTube channel, and then anything blue is just personal, so chores and stuff like that. And I think that's really good. You can do all of this within the Apple iPhone calendar or a Mac calendar. Or of course you can probably do the same thing on Windows and Android as well, or maybe even a Google Calendar. But this is just very much a typical free way of doing it. It worked really well for me. It works really well for the people that like to really have a rigid system. Mine even got to the point where I was scheduling in my social time, which can be a little bit frustrating for the people that are coming to see you, and they may feel a little bit kind of second best that you're kind of booking a slot for them. But if you really do want to be productive, it is a really good way to actually go about things. So make sure you go and do that. Even just give it a try for a week or two. If it doesn't work out, then you can go to this second method, which I'm now about to show you. So that's one way that you can plan your time. The way that I'm actually personally using right now is a much more simplified method, and that is basically taking the concept of, I believe Andy Frisella created this concept, and it's called a power list, and it's ever so simple. It's for those people that don't really have a schedule. Their lives are all over the place during the day. Maybe you're doing a job where you're not in the typical 9 to 5. You have to just go out as and when you can. And basically this concept is ever so simple. All you do is write down 5 things that you want to achieve to progress your business, or maybe even just something general like your health, on a list every single day, and make sure that you achieve those things. Now, this doesn't mean that you should set massive goals for the day. Don't do it as far as the point of it's completely unachievable. It needs to be 5 extremely achievable things that you can do every single day. A couple examples for me is like, number 1, go for a run. Number 2, send off a shipment to Amazon. Number 3, do some admin tasks. And this is a really good way of actually planning your day and making sure that you are making actionable steps to progressing your business. This is something that I've been doing over the last 2 months, and it's been extremely effective for me personally. I actually have a really good app on my iPhone. It's called Things, and basically what it does is you can create this list on your iPhone and pin it to your home screen. Hopefully I'm showing it on the screen right now, and you can just have a full overview, and it's in your face throughout the day, so you're constantly being reminded of what you need to do. This is a paid app on the iOS store. I believe I paid £9.99. This is not a sponsored advertisement or anything like that. It's just something that I found the other day, and it's been really helpful for me. But there's nothing to say that you can just grab a pen and paper and just write your 5 things down to do. One thing I almost forgot to say about this power list, and Andy Frisella really does preach this a lot in his podcast, and that is, once you have completed your 5 actionable tasks on your power list, to actually just take the day off, completely stop everything that you're doing, go and have some family time, go and play some video games, do whatever kind of relaxes you, because you have won your day effectively. And I personally don't do this simply because, number 1, I don't have as many ties as other people, so that's quite understandable. If you do have children, it's a really good concept to go and do that. But personally, what I do is I make sure that I have completed my 5 actionable tasks on my power list, and what I do then is make sure I note down anything else I achieve above that, and that is classed as a bonus day for me. So this is very much just for my own morale, my own kind of positive thinking that I am moving forward. I don't push myself too hard once I've completed my 5 tasks. Like, I'm not kind of just going through till 4 or 5 in the morning just to make sure that I've got more bonuses that I've completed. But basically I just make sure that I note down anything else I've achieved on top of the 5 power tasks that I've set throughout the day. So power list is a really good way to do it, but the main message here is to make sure that you have some kind of plan every single week about what you are going to be doing. Okay, so now we have a plan in place. We are feeling positive about how we're moving forward of growing a business alongside our full-time jobs. The next thing I personally started to do was looking at ways in which I could free up extra time throughout the day. And the way that I actually did this was by creating a full audit of my week. So what I personally did was made a journal, noting down every single thing that I did throughout the week, seeing where I was spending unnecessary time, where I could free up maybe an extra half an hour, maybe times where I was watching Netflix, playing on the PlayStation a little bit too much, sleeping in, of course, is a big thing, and just seeing where I could free up time. And the results that came back to me were completely shocking on how much time I was actually wasting throughout my week. So this was a really big kind of eureka moment for me and my business, and it actually gave me the confidence that I could do this whole business / entrepreneurship thing alongside a full-time job. And what I'll do is share with you a couple of my findings, and I guess the first one that really jumped out to me where I was wasting so much time was actually during my lunch breaks at work. And what I found I was doing most days was heading out to the shop, grabbing a ready meal, coming back to the office, popping it in the microwave, and then pretty much spending the next 45 minutes out of the hour that I had. I was quite lucky to even have an hour. I know some people don't even get that. But I was spending most of my time just watching YouTube videos, or everything was completely entertainment based. There was nothing valuable there, and I wasn't doing anything with that time. And when you add that up, if you're working 5 days a week or even 6, that's going to be 5 or 6 hours of your week you are just wasting away when you're fully in work mode anyway. You're not there to relax or anything like that, and you can really just make so much more use of that time. So the first thing that I actually did was I swapped out my Instagram story viewing sessions, my YouTube sessions, for actually some admin-y based tasks for my business. I didn't do anything too heavy, but I basically just focused on doing the things that I had to do when I got home anyway, that was just holding up my time to actually do things that were going to grow the business. So like I just mentioned, admin tasks, some phone calls maybe to some suppliers for my Amazon business. That was something that I did quite a lot during my lunch breaks, because a lot of the time that's when they're most available, believe it or not. Another thing that I did during that time was planned out a lot of YouTube videos, going into my notepad. That actually takes quite a long time, guys. When I plan these videos, it takes me at least like 45 minutes to an hour to actually do the research, do the planning, and get everything in place. So that was a really good thing to do. And the other thing that I actually did was I did do a little bit of content viewing. Basically what this entailed of was going on YouTube and actually watching some things that can help me grow my business. So at the time I was kind of growing as an Amazon seller. I didn't know too much about editing on YouTube, so a lot of the videos I was watching kind of tutorials on how to edit on Final Cut Pro. I was watching kind of Amazon videos from my trusted Amazon content creators that I like to watch. And this was really good. This is actually kind of getting me further. I was growing my knowledge within the business. One thing that I'm going to have to mention right now, and something that I wish that I did whilst I was kind of in the office and on my lunch breaks doing all of this, was actually signing up to Skillshare. So once again, hashtag not sponsored, but I have personally just signed up to Skillshare in the last couple of weeks. And basically, if you didn't know what Skillshare is, it's basically Netflix for education. And there's loads of really short mini courses that have really cool actionable steps to actually help you learn a skill. There's none of these kind of big monolithic kind of 15-hour courses. They're all really short and snappy courses to help you learn new skills. And I've been watching Skillshare quite a lot recently, obviously since I've started. What I will do is share a free 14-day trial link that you can sign up to. I'll leave that in the description below. But just to give you a little bit of an insight of some of the videos I'm personally watching at the moment Ali Abdol's Final Cut editing masterclass. So hopefully that is going well and you're seeing a little bit of a quality improvement in my videos. And the other one that I'm actually personally watching is Wendy Lazard, who has a course all about print on demand, which is going quite well so far. I'm not watching that one as intensely as it's not a business I'm not actively in yet, but it's something I'm interested in getting into in the future, so I'm kind of keeping an eye on that course at the same time as well, just watching that here and there. But yeah, going back to the audit, like I said, I managed to free up 5 free hours every single week, which is absolutely massive. Obviously, some quick maths there, that's 20 hours a month that I've freed up to work on my business. So I was really happy with that, but I didn't stop there. Now, the next thing that I personally changed obviously does change for every single person because their situation is different, but I personally had a 30-minute commute to work, which was actually walking. And I know this is going to sound very, very productivity like intense, but I spent a lot of my time during those walks just listening to music, not really doing much. Once again, probably looking on Instagram, Facebook. I'm not afraid to admit that. Maybe even TikTok from time to time. Wow. But there you go. That was just how it was. But one thing that I actually started to notice was how much time I was actually wasting. Now, like I said, it was about a 30-minute walk, and there were so many other things that I could have potentially done. Now, what I am not saying is whack your laptop out whilst you're on a walk to work, or definitely don't do it if you're driving to work. Don't do anything. But one thing that I started to do was I started to do some things on my phone. One thing that I actually done a lot of was I was actually planning out my day as I was walking to work. I was thinking about what I needed to achieve in that day, and that was a lot of the times I would actually start looking at my power list, start writing down some actionable steps that I needed to do that day. That was a really good time where I couldn't have done anything else because I was just on my way to work, where I could just get that bit out of the way and have that ready for when I actually just properly start my day at around 9 o'clock. But yeah, that is basically how to perform an audit on your life or your job. They were just two things that I managed to find some time in. There was so many other things as well, just things like kind of what I was doing while I was eating dinner, what I did after dinner for a while. I managed to free up so much time, and I know a lot of people say this, but I really do believe in the saying is that everyone has a spare free hour that they waste every single day, and you can definitely find that, guys. So that's two ways that I have managed to work around building a business alongside my full-time job. The third thing that you can potentially do whilst you are working full-time to grow your business is actually using some of the money, obviously depending on your financial situation, of course, using some of your work money to actually hire out some third-party help to help you actually grow your business whilst you are actually working. Now, just a few examples of the things that you could do. Let's say you are working in e-commerce like I am. You could potentially hire a virtual assistant to do some of the admin tasks in your business. You could hire a virtual assistant to do some sourcing of new stock. Let's say you are a YouTuber and you want to build a YouTube channel. You could obviously hire out the editing stage of that business because that takes a lot of time. Basically what I try to really recommend to people is try and get someone to help you to do the tasks that you don't like doing. One thing that I did to help me kind of get over this was about 6 or 7 months ago, where I was really overwhelmed with my Amazon business that I have, and actually prepping and packing the products. So I was spending a lot of time at work, I was spending a lot of time sourcing new products, but I was really not enjoying the packing of products. I was spending until like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. One thing I actually did was hired a company to actually take all of that on for me. Now, this is obviously going to come at a cost to my business, but this actually allows me to spend more time sourcing new stock for my e-commerce business, potentially growing it in the future. Now, that's not to say that if you are planning on quitting your job, one thing that you will actually do is free up a lot of time. You can then obviously take that control back if you wanted to save some money at the start. But what I'm trying to say is, the most of the time, I've heard a saying once, I believe, is that if you don't have time, you have money. If you don't have money, you have time. I know that is not going to be true for everyone, but it's normally just a general rule that I've definitely read in a book or seen on a blog post somewhere. But that's what I really like to go by with my business. If I am really not enjoying something, I will go to the point of hiring extra help out to solve that problem. Now, the fourth thing that I want to talk about when it comes to building and growing a business alongside a full-time job is very much on the mental state of things, and that is all about setting realistic expectations and managing your goals effectively. Now, obviously, everybody in life, whether it's personal, business, health, fitness, whatever, should be setting goals no matter what. They are so powerful. They are a brilliant way of measuring your success in, like I said, any circumstance. But when it comes to actually building a business around a busy schedule, you really do need to kind of focus on setting realistic expectations, and more importantly, not comparing your goals to anybody else's, because I've said this so many times in my other videos, your personal situation is going to be so much different to anybody else's. So the first thing that I personally did was I looked at my goals. I stopped looking at what everyone else was doing, because let's say if I compared my goal to someone that was building their business and they had, let's say, an investment and they didn't have to work full time, they didn't have to go and do this chore or anything like that, you are just going to be setting yourself up for mental failure. So it's not really too much to go into. It's very much just me telling you guys guys just to look at what you want out of life, look at the situation you are in and setting your goals around that. But yeah, that is pretty much the fourth thing that I really suggest you start looking at. I know it's not a massive kind of actionable step that will really help you push on, but it really is important to look at this side of things as well. I personally did used to compare myself to a lot of people in the past, and I very much gave up a lot of businesses because of this. But when it comes to actually starting my e-commerce business and this YouTube channel, I really did nail down on my goals, and I saw the difference in my mental state and my productivity going forward. I'm still doing both, touch wood, so let's see how that goes in the future. But I'm going to end the video there today, guys. If you did find some value from this video, please let me know in the comments section down below. It would really mean a lot to hear from some of you guys. If you wanted to watch a video similar to this, or maybe you wasn't too sure about what business to start, this video up here would be a really good place to start. It's a list of 5 realistic ways that you can potentially make money online in 2020 and beyond. So make sure you go and check that out. Apart from that, guys, I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.